Well, good morning, everybody, and we will stand and call the meeting to order with our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated, and I'll note for the record that all board members are present, and good morning to all of you. I move the approval of the minutes of the September 8th, 2025 board meeting.
Second.
Second by Mr. McCafferty. Any unreadiness? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye, the ayes have it. And I move to acknowledge Secretary of State Directive 2025-51, the release of electronic poll book use for the November 4th, 2025 general election. Second by Ms. Stewart. Any unreadiness? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. And to administrative item number 3, the chair recognizes Director Perlotti to give us a little insight as to what is before us.
Thank you, Chairman. Just on number 3, this directive, it's an ongoing effort of the Secretary of State in various areas to update and clean up voter registration data. With this, there are some mailings that may need to go out, and the Secretary of State in this part of this directive has a grant of, I think it's $4,300. Like typically with Secretary of State grants, it requires the signature of the director and the deputy director. We did sign that, and that will be submitted today. The actual grant itself was called out in the directive itself. So there are some parameters, but we will go ahead and get that so we can get our check and start doing the things that we need to do with that grant.
Thank you, sir. Board members, any questions? Mr. McCafferty?
Mr. Director, do we have a lot of these, do you know, to be processed?
I'm going to put Hassani Weed on the spot. What are we looking at?
Excuse me, Mr. Weed, if you would go to the thing, the chair recognizes Mr. Weed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So to answer the question, so there's 3 sets of data that will have to be applied. There is pre-matches of 33,000, which actually was just applied yesterday. We're in the process of applying possible matches of another 11,000, and there's also another 3,500 where the BMV information does not match, so we have to send out a letter confirmation notice to those individuals for them to respond to. So there's probably a good 48,000 total records in terms of being applied.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Weed. Any other questions for Mr. Weed or Mr. Perlotti? Mr. Perlotti, anything else?
No.
Okay, thank you. All right, having heard that, I move to acknowledge Secretary of State Directive 2025-52.
Second.
Second by Ms. Stewart. All in favor, aye. Aye. The ayes have it. Thank you. And on to number 4, and we acknowledge with the board's sympathy the following death in elected office. Gary V. Gottschalk, Village of Oakwood Mayor. And we acknowledge the resignation from elected office, Michael P. Kilbane, Fairview Park City Council President of Council, and I move to acknowledge that death and resignation from elected office.
Second.
Second by Mr. McCafferty. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye, the ayes have it. And on to item number 5. I move to acknowledge the following candidate withdrawn from the November 4th, 2025 general election, Robert E. Haycox, Mayfield Village, member of council at large, and he is a write-in candidate.
Second.
Second by Mr. McCafferty. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye, the ayes have it. And on to fiscal services. The chair recognizes Deputy Director Callagher. And Ms. Brown? Okay, the chair recognizes Ms. Tara Brown.
Phil Fiscal is presenting a resolution for authority to. Is it better now?
Yes.
All right. So we have a resolution for authority to procure a replacement stacker for the Agilis sorting and processing system to restore to full working order from Runbeck Election Services in an amount not to exceed $40,000, which includes shipping.
Okay. And I just want to add to that, so Runbeck Services, Election Services did come this week, and they delivered, and they installed the Agilis vote-by-mail sorter machine. They also brought the replacement stacker and installed that as well. In addition, they moved all the equipment to the north side of the garage, to the drier portion of the garage. So all of the equipment is in a better place for us going into the November election. And we have, both machines are working, so we have the need for operations as well as redundancy with the process. I'll just also add, last week, Director Perlotti and I met with the county and Public Works. It was a positive meeting. They shared and they understand the importance of protecting the voting equipment, and they're currently working on a space allocation plan, and in order to be able to move the entire vote-by-mail process into the main building. So we're going to be meeting with them again on October 8th, and we look forward to a good resolution at that time.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Callagher. Thank you, Ms. Brown. Board members, any questions for either of our presenters? All right, hearing none, I move to approve resolution, or is it approval or adoption?
I think we adopt.
Adopt, okay. So I move to adopt Resolution R 2025-09-19-0023P for Runbeck Election Services.
Second.
Second by Mr. McCafferty. All in favor, aye. Aye, the ayes have it. Thank you so much. And on to registration, the chair recognizes Mr. Hassani Wheat.
Good morning again.
Morning.
Hassani Wheat, Registration Manager. In front of you, you have the September 9th, 2025 primary election provisional verification summary. A total of 190 provisional ballots were cast during the September 9th, 2025 primary election. All 190 provisional ballots were cast in accordance with Directive 2025-40, which is the Chapter 8 of the provisional voting of the Ohio Secretary of State's election manual official. Of the 190 provisional ballots, 137 were confirmed to be valid provisional ballots. 53 provisional ballots were rejected for various reasons. Those various reasons are 25 were not registered, 12 were missing acceptable identification, 7 were voted absentee, 2 were empty envelope, 2 were missing date of birth, 1 was no signature, 1 had a non-matching identification, 1 was a wrong precinct, wrong location, and there were 2 that were not eligible for this election. Of note, the highest number of rejected provisionals comes from voters that were not registered in the state of Ohio at 25, which has been consistently the top category for provisional rejections. There were 21 provisional voters who moved into Cuyahoga County from other Ohio counties, and we verified that they did not vote in their previous county. The next page provides some additional information and reasons regarding voters who cast a provisional ballot. There were 79 provisional voters that had a name and or address change. 50 provisional voters were ones that had requested but did not return their vote by mail ballot. There were 2 voters that appeared at the Board of Elections during the SOS mandated 4-day provisional cure period after the election. However, both voters have voted provisionally to update their address and had already provided their ID on their provisional ballot envelope. Below, you have the provisional rejections comparisons chart. 8% were rejections that can be improved through PEO training. Those categories are wrong precinct, wrong location, no signature, and missing date of birth. 92% of the rejections were based on information that the voter had provided. Those categories were not registered, voted absentee, missing acceptable identification, non-matching identification, empty envelope, and not eligible for the election. The registration department is recommending that 137 provisional ballots from the September 9th, 2025 primary election be approved for opening and tabulation, and that 53 rejected provisional ballots remain sealed. Questions?
Thank you, Mr. Wheat. Any questions for Mr. Wheat from the board? Okay, hearing none, and hearing Mr. Wheat's recommendation, I move to authorize the registration department to open 137 provisional ballots, and they be approved for opening and tabulation, and that we reject 53 ballots, and those will remain sealed.
Second.
Second by Mr. McCafferty. Any unreadiness? All in favor, aye? Aye. The ayes have it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wheat. And Chair recognizes Mr. Perlotti.
Just have 5 items, all short, to give you a quick update on. In no particular order. Today, though, is Cuyahoga Friday for the November 4th election. As of this meeting, we have 113 applications that we've been processed, and we will get those ballots out to those individuals today. So the election is underway with ballots going out into the universe. Also, yesterday, a decision was made by Deputy Director Cuyahoga and myself with input from staff that we do have a last-minute polling location change in the city of North Olmsted for this November 4th election. I received a phone call from an elected official regarding the North Olmsted Community Cabin that is currently has a parking lot construction project going on where they have ripped up the parking lot and are expanding and reinstalling. Staff went out, visited the location again, had meetings with members of the city of North Olmsted, and the contractor said that that lot should be functional by October 22nd. However, being an outdoor project, it also is dependent on the weather. So taking all that into consideration, just don't feel like rolling the dice on this one. So there are 3 precincts in that location, and we can take all 3 and fit them into John Knox Presbyterian Church in North Olmsted. So we have notified the location. We are making changes to the voter information guide. We will be sending out a letter to those individuals. What we didn't want to have happen is get to October 22nd and it's not ready, and then we're making a change a week before the election. And so now what we do have the ability to do is reprogram the scanners to accept ballots from all, I believe it'll be 5 precincts that'll be assigned to the location. So that is better for the voters. We'll proactively send out an additional 2 scanners to the location to accommodate the increased volume. The poll worker will be able to staff it appropriately, and so now it takes any of that guesswork out. We already see it's supposed to rain Monday and Tuesday of next week, so that's 2 lost construction days, and who knows what happens. So we also will work with the city to make sure that that gets out to the voters so they're aware. So works out well because the voter information guides aren't supposed to go out towards the end of next week, so we still have time to pull that, make changes, and not have them get one thing and then a week later get something that says different. Next item is, as we had it earlier in the agenda, the passing of Oakwood Mayor Gottschalk. With that, it is a chartered community, and their charter has us conducting an election for his replacement. The election will be sometime between December 16th and January 6th. So we may have one more this year, or we may have one week 1 of next year. We do not get to pick the date. Per their charter, their council does pick that date. They have a meeting on Tuesday, which they will do that. The Board of Elections preference is December 16th. It would allow for the early vote window to start after the conclusion of the November window, and we would be able to certify everything by December 23rd. We have expressed our preference to them, and they have expressed their preference as January 6th, but they will take our information under advisement when they decide what they want to do. Their reasoning is they want to provide more time for candidates to circulate petitions. I believe they only need 75 signatures, so it's not a ton, and they want more time to be able to advertise the election to the voters, which I understand that. However, I would guess a January 6th election potentially could be the lowest attended election that we may ever see, with the early vote window during the holiday season and the first week of January. Most people really aren't thinking about elections, but we will do whatever comes across. In our meeting next week, we should probably have the legislation to be able to actually then set the election based on what they passed. So always a ton of fun here, right? Next week, I will be out of the office Monday through Wednesday attending an election conference. We are, meaning the Cuyahoga Board of Elections, members of the Partnership for Large Election Jurisdictions, which is just that, a group of large election jurisdictions across the country, bigger ones, where this will be the first time attending one of their conferences. They offer a lot of virtual meetings and updates, and it's focused on, again, large. So we do things a little bit different than small. So I will be there for that. And of course, the agency will be in good hands with Deputy Director Gallagher. And then lastly, in one of my other roles, I am a member of the Board of Voting System Examiners. We had a meeting this past Wednesday, and at that meeting, we approved testing matrices for ballot on demand and for voter registration systems, of which both of those items were not registered pieces or certified pieces of equipment. Legislation that has now required that. So we have those matrices for vendors to go ahead and utilize to get certified. Any equipment that we currently have, such as the DIMS voter registration database or our ballot on demand product, is through Clear Ballot. Those are all grandfathered in, so we can continue to use what we have. It's only if we want to change or get enhancements that we'll have to get something that is certified. We are aware that at least a couple voter registration companies are ready. They've just been waiting on this matrix so they can get in the certification. And as we move towards replacing our DIMS voter registration database over the 2026, 2027 cycle, it will have to be a certified product. So those were what I had. If there's any questions on any of the.
Thank you, Director Perlotti. Any questions for the director? No, thank you so much. Deputy Director, anything?
Yes, I just have a brief building update. Since we've moved in, we've had some lingering and some new issues with the building, and RSI is the building management division of their ownership that tends to those items, whether it's restrooms, HVAC, electrical outlets, things like that. So this week we met with them, and what we decided at this point is we're just going to have weekly meetings. We created a Excel spreadsheet that has expected start dates and expected finish dates, and the goal really is to whittle these items down and help and eliminate them. Also, we had productive discussion and better understanding as far as what are the responsibilities of the county maintenance and county custodial and so forth. So again, as we're moving into this building and getting things set, by having weekly meetings, we think that we can really get everybody on the same page and hopefully resolve some of these issues as well. So again, that was a positive thing. Just wanted to bring the board up to speed on that.
Thank you. Any questions, comments from the board? All right, thank you, gentlemen. The chair has received no requests for public comment, nor a request for executive session, so all of our business having been conducted, I move that
Chairman?
we, yes, please.
Before you do.
Yes, please, Ms. Stewart.
And I'm sorry, I missed
no
this
problem.
in our earlier approval of the minutes, but on page 4 of the minutes, in the third paragraph, talking about Attorney Mack. If I recall, I think her first name is Lisa, not Kim. Is
Yes,
that correct?
it is Lisa Mack. So thank you, Ms. Stewart. We will update the record, friendly amendment. Yes, Lisa Mack for the record. Thank you. All right. There being no other business before us, I move that we go into recess. Second by Mr. McCafferty. All in favor, aye. Aye. The ayes have it. Thank you so much and have a great day.